I just wanted to briefly explain to you the basics of thromboelastogram and rotum. Rotum is rotational thromboelastometry. Now, all of you know the hemostasis actually happens whenever there is a bleed. So, there are three phases of hemostasis. One is the vascular phase, where there will be vasospasm. Then platelet aggregation, followed by clot formation. This is the hemostasis. The conventional tests which we are using to assess the coagulation, like the PT, APTT, thrombin time, etc. They are only assessing the coagulation factors in the hemostasis. But you should also remember there is a cellular component as well as the clot strength depending upon the fibrinolysis. These parameters are not assessed by the traditional coagulation tests. For that, the thromboelastogram and the rotum have been devised. They are called viscoelastic properties testing. These TEG and rotum are actually point of care devices. They should be either in the accident emergency department or in the operation theatre or in the hospital, wherever you use these tests or you are coming across any bleeding patients. Okay, so but the problem is the blood should be immediately transferred to the equipment. You cannot transfer this blood sample from one institution to the other institution for the rotum and thromboelastogram. So that's why it's called point of care devices. Now I will just give you a brief idea about the thromboelastogram. The thromboelastogram phases can be like this. Okay, so this is the time, the clot time. Okay, this is the rate of clot formation, and this is the strength of the clot, and this is the stability of the clot. Okay, so these four parameters are assessed by the thromboelastogram and rotum. One is the time of the clot formation, the rate of clot formation, the strength of the clot, and the stability of the clot. Now, what is the time? The clot time means the initiation of the coagulation. As soon as there is a vascular injury, there will be primary hemostasis, followed by the secondary hemostasis by the clot formation. So the initiation of the coagulation is determined by this clot time or the time of the TEG, and this is assessed in the TEG by R time or the reaction time. R time or the reaction time. Suppose if there is a delay in the initiation of the coagulation, what will happen? The reaction time will be prolonged. So you should assess what could be the reason for the prolongation of the reaction time. It could be due to either deficiency of the coagulation factors or the patient is on anticoagulation. That is why the initiation of the coagulation process is delayed, and that is reflected in the TEG as a prolongation of the reaction time. Now comes to the rate. The rate is assessed by two parameters. I will tell you that. This is the graph in the TEG. this angle is called the alpha angle, and this time of the rate of formation is called the K time or the kinetic time. Kinetic time. K time or the kinetic time. This is the alpha angle. What do they indicate? The alpha angle and the kinetic time, they give you an idea about the rate of formation of the clot, and this depends upon the fibrin generation, and that depends upon the availability of the fibrinogen. So once the clot, the coagulation cascade is activated, the thrombin is formed, and the thrombin should convert the fibrinogen to fibrin. For that, there should be ample supply of fibrinogen. So that part is assessed by the alpha angle and the kinetic time. Suppose if the alpha angle is reduced or the kinetic time is prolonged, that means there is a deficiency of fibrinogen, because both these tests depend upon the fibrin generation and the rate of fibrin generation. So suppose if there is a deficiency of fibrinogen or the fibrinogen formed is dysfunctional, then the alpha angle will be reduced or the kinetic time will be prolonged. Now comes to the next part. The strength of the clot is assessed in TEG by the parameter called maximum amplitude. This maximum amplitude in TEG is decided by the interaction of the fibrin with the platelets. The platelet fibrin interaction and cross-linking is important for the strength of the clot, and this strength is assessed in 80% by the platelets. So suppose if there is a platelet deficiency, what will happen? The maximum amplitude will be reduced. So if the maximum amplitude in the TEG is reduced, that gives you an idea that the platelets are deficient. And now you are assessing the strength of the stability of the clot. After the formation of the clot, that clot should be stable enough and stay there for some time to seal the bleeding. After that, and that purpose is served, then the fibrinolysis mechanism will come into action. In some cases, from the beginning there will be fibrinolysis, so the clot formed will not be stable. That stability is assessed by the lysis time at 30 minutes or the estimated percentage of lysis. Lysis time at 30 minutes or the estimated percentage of lysis. If the lysis time 30 is more than 7.5%, or if the estimated percentage of lysis is more than 15%, that means the clot formed is not stable, it's undergoing fibrinolysis by the plasminogen activation. So that leads to hyperfibrinolysis. So these are the parameters assessed by the TEG. The reaction time, then comes the alpha angle and the kinetic time, then comes the maximum amplitude, then comes the lysis time at 30 minutes and estimated percentage of lysis. Now I will explain to you with reference to all these values. Suppose R time means reaction time is prolonged. What does it indicate? The initiation of the coagulation is delayed. The coagulation factor is deficiency, or the patient is on anticoagulant. So how will you treat this patient? You replace the coagulation factors if there is a deficiency of the coagulation by FFP, or you can give even activated protein factors like PCC, 4-factor PCC. If the patient is on anticoagulant and that is why the reaction time is prolonged, then you use the antidote for the anticoagulant and replace either PCC or FFP according to the availability. Now coming to the alpha angle and the kinetic time. Suppose if the alpha angle is reduced or the kinetic time is prolonged, that gives you an idea that the fibrinogen is insufficient. So you have to replace fibrinogen. For that, either you can give the cryoprecipitate which contains a lot of fibrinogen, or you can give the plasma derived fibrinogen concentrates. Now comes to the maximum amplitude. I told you the maximum amplitude is assessed by mainly by the platelets, fibrin interaction, and the platelets constitute about 80% of the strength of the clot. So if the maximum amplitude is reduced, that means there is platelet deficiency or there is a qualitative abnormality of the platelet. That is why the maximum amplitude is reduced. So you have to replace platelets. And now coming to the stability of the clot. If the lysis time at 30 minutes is more than 7.5% or the estimated percentage lysis is more than 15%, you know that there is hyperfibrinolysis. So you have to stop that hyperfibrinolysis by giving tranexamic acid. That is how you tailor and give the targeted therapy or component therapy depending upon the tech parameters. Now there is a small difference